Okay, guys, this is take three. You will find that I am determined. You will find I don't give up. It must be, I like to think it's the athlete in me. I think you guys are cool because some of you guys have popped on all three times with me, and I super appreciate you. And hopefully, you can hear me now. So, those of you on Facebook, yay! Robin says, yay! You can hear me, yay! So, three times, my poor little computer that I'm streaming this one on, streaming Facebook on, is it's been working hard. I've been writing level 2 for quantum nutrition testing class. Some of you guys are coming. I'm so excited at the end of October. So I've been writing level 2 content and PowerPoints and presentations in the manual and all that good stuff. And so this little guy has been holding all of that content. And I realized, you know what? I don't think I've restarted this one computer since I started writing content on it. So I'm sure it's tired and needed to restart. So that's what I did. So now we're up and rolling. So I apologize for all the starts and restarts and starts and restarts and starts and restarts. But I guess this topic is really important. So the topic tonight is on babies, boosters, and beauty and beauties. And I just wanted to share some things that we're seeing in the office. I wanted to share some concerns and, of course, leave you with good stuff. And so, beauty wise, or baby wise, we'll start with babies. We have lots of awesome quantum nutrition babies being born. We had a couple just delivered recently, I think on Saturday. They were a fertility case. They're having trouble getting pregnant and started working with Merely and now have cutest little tiny 5-pound baby, very cute. One of my patients in the Hawaiian Islands, we've been working with her quantumly. She just had her baby not this Saturday, but last Saturday. So very cute little boy. We have some pregnancies maturing, I guess, coming into their final trimester, including Merely. So Merely is due. You guys can guess. Is she? So her due date is on October, and October 30th, I want to say. So you guys have to let me know, what is your guess? When do you think that Merely will have her baby? One of my associates. I quantum tested it and I got November 5th. So we'll see who's right. When the baby will come when it decides to come, right? So we can't wait to meet baby P. And yeah, and so from a good news standpoint, lots of awesome families having healthy babies, unvaccinated babies, from mamas that have not gotten experimental procedures. A lot of these babies are my Hawaiian babies, at home birth. Mom has had a nice recovery so far. Awesome. Other baby, I believe, was born in the hospital. Mom is doing awesome. And then Merely is going to do a combination of, I think, perhaps a doula and then a hospital birth with not a lot of interventions. So that's cool. So the not fun part is the booster part. And so I was just on the academy with students, and they're concerned with their friends and family that have gotten boosters. And some of them are starting to see the negative effects. The change in brain, to me, is one of the most alarming effects. It really seems to these experiments seem to have a negative effect on brain function, with like more of a dementia type of reaction, or Alzheimer's type of reaction, where the brain is just not functioning properly. I was driving home last night and I was looking, I always look, I'm one of those drivers. I like to look ahead. I like to look behind me. I can kind of predict what the drivers in front of me are going to do. I'm always kind of looking, right? And so I'm looking ahead and the light's green. So I'm like, cool. So I'm just driving straight on this main road that heads to my house. And there's a car sitting in the lane, and the light was red, but it has turned green, and it was green for at least 20 seconds, and they were still sitting at this light and it was green. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that person must have received the experiment and their brain is mush. They're just not, it's not firing right. Some people are observing people that are more angry, people that aren't communicating well, people that are not very kind. And so there's been many studies done that it does have a negative effect on the brain. It does have a negative effect on babies. A study just came out that the Children's Health Defense published. So if you're not a member of the Children's Health Defense, you do want to subscribe. But with one little disclaimer is that unfortunately, a lot of the news coming out of there is not good news. And so, one of the studies that was done on pregnant women that were given the booster shots, 80% of them had miscarriages. Out of that, there was 26 pregnant women that there was no final results, like they just fell out of the study. So, what happened to them? And then they went into all the numbers on like when they miscarried and when this happened and the spontaneous abortion and all of this gross stuff, right? So, so it's a big problem, and I'm concerned because there are studies that have shown that birth rates have dropped. There are studies that have shown that women that have received the experiment are having female issues, heavier periods, clottier periods, which will go with heavier, but it's more descriptive, and problems with infertility. And there's some people that believe that it's a sterilization shot. And so, as a holistic physician, I'm very concerned. I'm concerned on two ends, right? I'm very worried about the people that receive the shot and the detrimental effects that studies, not me, studies have said that can occur. Everything from stroke to myocarditis to irregular heartbeats to clots to whatever. And we'll see how long this video lasts on Facebook. Maybe that's why I had trouble getting on Facebook today, because I already have strikes against me. And I really don't care at this point, right? Like the data needs to go out. So those of you that are listening, for some reason, it took 3 tries to get this up and running today. So those of you who are listening, if there's someone that needs to hear this, share this with them, right? I make this content shareable. And on the other hand, you have the babies, you have the moms that someone educated them. So either we told them, hey, this experiment is not a good idea to get before pregnancy, during pregnancy, or ever. We do not want your kid to suffer any damage from the shots that happen after birth. And we're going to give the baby the best chance we can with holistic nutrition and balancing out the body and balancing out mama and teaching her how to eat and teaching her how to breastfeed and all the good stuff, right? So it's like 2 pieces of this equation. It's like the healthy babies that I see that we're helping with quantum nutrition. The moms are doing awesome. The babies are doing awesome. It's just like awesome. And then the other equation where, people that have gotten the shot are having all these issues. And I was just talking to a student and she was asking about a family member that got the boosters and what can be done. And I don't like answering those questions, like those are not fun questions. I have a lot of colleagues that agree with me that think that there's not much that can be done. We don't have any technology that could detox that out. I have other colleagues that are like, yeah, we can totally do that. And I'm like, I think I'm pretty good in nutrition. We have a large practice. We have a lot of associate practitioners. We're constantly studying. And all the seminars that we go to and all the people that we know and the scientists and the owners of companies and this and that, no one has said, this is the solution. This is what works. This is what fixes it. No one has said that. And if someone said that and it actually did work, it would be all over the natural healthcare community. And we would definitely know about it, right? So, so what do you do? So my viewpoint is, whether you're in holistic healthcare or you're not, you have to have those difficult conversations. You have to tell the people that you know and you love that, hey, these shots have consequences, right? And we do not recommend, if you've already had them, don't take any more. And if you hadn't taken them, don't get any. And if you're considering with your kids have a super high survival rate. And oh, by the way, why would you get a shot for something that your body can handle, right? And why would you get a shot if you still get sick with the problem? Like that doesn't make any sense to me, right? And so I know some of the college kids have returned back. Some of them have decided to get the shot, not fully understanding what they're doing to themselves, not fully understanding the consequences, not fully understanding what that could mean for their future. And so it's a heavy conversation, And so as we get into fall and as we get into winter, those are conversations you need to have with your family members. Those are conversations that need to be spoken, whether they want to hear it or not. And at least, for me, at the end of the day, I know that I have tried to educate every live for every week. I've got lives popping up from years ago now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like wow, and oh gosh, I wear that shirt a lot. And so I have lives that are shot. There are shooting up from 2019, right? Shooting up is not a good term in this conversation. They're popping up from Facebook from 2 years ago. And so I know every single week, I have not missed a week, every single week since 2019, on Tuesday night, I have gone live on various topics. If you're my patient, I'm very honest and very blunt at times on my viewpoint on this. And and it has a positive effect. I have a patient that reached out to me from Europe, and she was very cool that she has been watching not only my Tuesday night lives, but also my husband's Brave TV lives, but also Leah and I don't know. Come on, Christina, help me with that. Leah and I think is the right grammar, our homeschool lives. And because she's been educated by us for years, she trusts us enough to reach out to us for her own healthcare. And that's super cool. So I guess that's the beauty of it, right? So within destruction, I think of, like, I don't know, a fire, right? You have a fire, everything's charred, it looks horrible, it's all black and sooty and messy. And then from that, you have beauty, right? You have that little flower, that little seedling that comes up in the earth and starts everything anew again. And so there's a lot of heavy darkness right now. There's a lot of families that are realizing that maybe having grandma get this experiment was a bad idea. There are adult patients that I have that are wishing, I've heard that too many times. They're like, I wish I would have listened to you. I wish I never had gotten the shot. I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish. They're wishing that that wasn't a thing for them. And my hope with this is that if you're on the fence for your kid, that the vote is no. The vote is hell no. The vote is not in a million years. The vote is no way. And if you don't believe me, there's so many things that you can look at as far as resources. You can watch the documentary 1986, The Act, and it goes into the history of vaccines. You can watch Vaxxed. You can watch Vax 2. There's many, many books on this subject. And to me, the most heartbreaking, which I don't like to recommend to patients because it's super depressing, is to look at the Facebook groups of vaccine damaged, of moms of vaccine damaged kids. Look at the Facebook groups of moms with autistic kids. Look at the Facebook groups of people that have suffered damage from the COVID shot, right? And those groups exist, and yes, they're being shadow banned, but it's just heartbreaking. I can pop on those groups and look from a physician standpoint on symptoms, but I can't stay on long because it's just too much, right? So then the beauty, right? So the beauty of this, and Del Bigtree said this a couple years ago at an event I was at. And when he said it, honestly, I was like, I don't know, Del, that doesn't sound very good. He said, hey, people are going to get this experiment because the media is going to tell them it's the right thing to do. And people trust what the media says, and people trust government. And so they're going to end up with this experiment, and they're going to have issues. But what's going to happen, the beauty out of it, if you could use that term, the beauty of it is me looking at the positive side, right? It's going to have some ugly points, but the beauty of it is that it's going to increase awareness on vaccine injury. It's going to increase awareness of these new parents that I'm educating on, hey, look around you. COVID shot 1, COVID shot 2, booster 1, booster 2. Now there's new boosters that they have not done any human studies on. None. they've studied it on rats and they found the rats had some issues. So how is this being approved? And why would you do this? There's actually a study right now where they're trying to study why people are refusing to get boosters. They want to know, why are people not getting boosters? And they're studying it. And who knows, maybe they'll label it some kind of psychiatric term, because psychiatry has some weird terms. They have a term where if you like to eat organic food because you know other food has lots more chemicals, then you have like some kind of syndrome, like organic eating food syndrome. Like that's not the name of it, but it's so weird. And if you own more than 5 credit cards, then you have a shopping syndrome. And if I can totally see psychiatrists coming up with, and they're probably already working on this. If you refuse experiments, then you have some kind of disorder. And I can totally see them trying to drug people on it. And so the beauty of it is not that. The beauty of it is people are becoming aware and people are questioning things and people are studying things and people are finding shows and platforms like my husband's Brave TV. And people are becoming more informed. I think that we all had a little bit of negligence is bliss, right? We thought, hey, if we don't know about it, we're just going to live our happy Netflix binging lives, our work during the week and hang out on the weekend and do whatever you want and don't contribute to society and don't learn. I remember after my 9th year of chiropractic school, I was like, I don't want to learn any more stuff. I just went to college for 9 years. Like, I don't want to learn. And then one of my friends, um, he was very honest and upfront. He said, look, the minute you stop learning, you get stale. And I was like, oh, you're calling me stale? But he was right. He was like, you get stale, and you're meant to either learn and keep growing, or you go in reverse. And that's why you see some people that go into retirement and they just like die very quickly because they have no purpose. They're not learning anything. They're not doing anything. They're not contributing anything. So any positive step forward, any person that you educate, anything that you post, any positive thing that you do for your own life, right? So like just you have a choice to eat cookies for dinner or eat something with a little bit more nutrition, and you pick the thing with more nutrition. That is a step in a positive direction. I was talking to a patient today and she was choosing to have positive thoughts. Like she could beat herself up and say negative things, but she chose to have positive thoughts, to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Encouraging words, saying please, saying thank you, smiling at people. Like I smile at people and people kind of stare at me like I'm a weirdo. And I'm like, have we been covered? Not me, but have people been covered so much that they forgot how to smile? Right? Like they forgot what that's like. So like try the experiment. Like go somewhere out and look at the person in their face, because people don't do that anymore, and just smile at them and see what they do. One of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to smile back, which would be a great response, or they're going to be like, they're going to like glitch. They're not going to know what to do. So what I want to leave you with is whatever you can do to do something positive helps to shift the negativity to positivity, the doom and gloom to bright and light, the horrible, bad, awful news to good news. And who knows, maybe that one conversation that you have with a person, and I know I have patients that they live by themselves, they're retired. I know I have patients that I might be the only person that they have a conversation with that day. I know that you have people in your life that you may be the only positive person that talks to them. If you're a teacher, you might be the only person that is caring and kind to that student. So whatever it is, pick the positivity, pick the kindness, pick the encouraging words, because there's too much of the other stuff right now in our society. All right, so I'll take a couple questions and then I'm out. Definitely focus on what you want. Yep. Christina says, I love your smiling point. Yes, Christina. That is true. Robin loves smiles. Robin has a nice smile. One of the best things about living in the South is smiling. Okay, cool. Yep. So smiling is important. Maybe she's talking about like in the winter when you have scarves. I'm like, what is this called? scarves that you can't really see people's face. Yeah. Jessica hugs her patients. Jessica is so awesome. So yeah, so whatever you can do to stay positive, whatever you can do to spread sunshine, whatever you can do to be on that light side is super awesome. So thank you guys for being really patient with me tonight with the 3 tries. I'm glad that I was able to get through. I'm glad I got technology to behave. Hopefully this helps one of you, some of you guys, one of you guys, any of you guys, and spread that smile. I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer with Palmer. I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer with Palmer Natural Health, and also known as Dr. Mama Bear, and part of the Quantum Nutrition Academy. So those are all the things I'm chatting in these days, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Good night.